It is said that 99% of gamblers quit before they win big. Dear colleagues, dear friends, today I'm going to share my journey from the perspective of 1%. I had the luck to be introduced to gambling even as a child. And don't get me wrong, I know the devastating effects of gambling that some people have, but I see gambling not inherently good or bad. There's always context to it. Growing up in the early 2000s was an interesting time. Outside every school, there was a bar, and in that bar, a pool table, a darts machine, and somewhere in the corner, a couple of poker slot machines with lights and sounds. They were calling for me. The simple idea to win money was magnetically attractive to me. I was compelled to go and try them out. So I sat down and I placed my bets. And surely but not, I won. For the very first time in my life, I won something. I made my money 10 times. I was excited. I was ecstatic. That night, I celebrated. The next day, however, I came back, trying to replicate the success. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, so I lost. Okay, you know what they say, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So I came back the next day, and again I lost. And I was like, okay, third day is a charm, you know? And third day I lost everything that I won the first day, and more. So I was mad. I really wanted to win. So I set a goal that I wanted to win big. Not only to recover all my money that I lost, but I wanted to have a surplus as well. So I tried again and again, and sometimes I would win, sometimes I would break even, but most of the time I would lose everything. During that time I got introduced to a new set of friends called loan sharks. A lot of people were afraid of loan sharks. I was never afraid of them. They made me grow. They made me be better. They made me overcome myself. They would always call me. They were interested to see how I'm doing, where I am. My mother wasn't that interested in me. But I guess they really helped me to grow. The weird thing about this, as I kept going and kept losing money at the poker machines, I noticed something. That I was always able to make money. I was always able to pay the loan sharks, you know? When they were pushing me to hit the deadline, I was always able to find a way. Gambling got the worst of me, but also the best of me. I discovered abilities that I wasn't aware that I had. So after a while, when you have such a high goal to win big and to recover all the money that you lost, if you don't see results, you're going to start to feel sad, maybe a bit depressed. You're putting so much time and effort and nothing to show for. So I stepped on that dark path, and in that darkness, I asked myself, how do those machines work? And surely I found out quite soon. Apparently, if you put $1 into the machine would give back 85 cents. The machine will give 85% of everything that it's invested into it. 15% goes to the house, hence the expression, the house always wins, according to the gaming laws of Romania. However, those bar owners were a bit tricky. They would call engineers and they would modify the machines in such a way that they would give only 60% and sometimes even less. I felt betrayed. Not only did I find out that there's no way to achieve my goal, but I was deceived for the past months. Gandhi said an eye for an eye would make the whole world blind, but I said, fuck it. So I dig deeper. And I went and I studied and I found a glitch in the system. Those machines were equipped with a protective system. In case of a power cut, they would do something specifically. So basically, if you would get a full house or a straight, you would bet on it and you would have a chance to double your money. And then if you would bet again, you would double it again until you got to a big sum of money. In the unlikely event of a power cut, during the betting hand, all the money that you had during that hand would go into your credits. And for your protection, once the power came back up, all the money from that hand would go into your credits, but the machine would allow you to beat another similar hand for the next couple of hands, or even higher sometimes. So I found a way to block the machine during a big hand, and then I would call the hostess to come and shut down my machine. She would have done it for me. I started to win. Finally, I was on the right path. I paid my loan sharks. I was independent. I felt like an entrepreneur. I had my own business. And not only did I start winning big, to put this into perspective, if I would have gone with $100 on a bar, in 1 hour I would have been able to make $700 to $1,000. That's how effective this method was. So after a while, I started going to, I realized how powerful this is. So I kind of laid low. I wouldn't go to the same bar more than once a week. Sometimes I would even win less, but sometimes I just wanted to show off, like 20 people surrounding you, watching you like beat hands, betting more than they earn in a month, and they would look at me, look at this 13-year-old with pimples, how can he do that? It was a bit exciting, it feed my ego. So after a while, I started skipping school. I would wake up, I would go to the bars, 2-3 bars, I would make enough money, and then every evening I would go party. This went on for a couple of months. After a couple of months, in one morning, I took a friend and we went to a new bar in Bazaar. It was somewhere in the basement. It was like going into a dungeon. And down in that dungeon, there were 10 poker machines. Mariana was the hostess. She came and I did a trick. She looked at me skeptically and then she left. 20 minutes later, a man enters the bar with shiny hair and a ponytail. He was looking like Steven Seagal. In his hand, he was carrying a katana. He politely invited us to sit at the table, and he went. So you kids are stealing money from me, huh? I was shocked. I got caught. I was speechless. So he went on. You know what's going to happen. I'm going to take you to the woods. I'm going to undress you. I'm going to tie you to a tree. And I'm going to slice you up. The tension was real. The whole speech was not more than 1 minute, but it felt like an eternity. After 1 minute, he changed his face. Just kidding. Mariana, pay the kids their money and let them go. I left the bar. I never felt more alive to him. But that day was the last day that I ever gambled on a poker slot machine. That speech was so intensive that changed my whole life. But did I quit gambling? No. But I chose to use that gambling energy and use it in different things. You gamble by stepping outside of the comfort zone to see what you can make out of it. You gamble by throwing yourself into the unknown. Go to a different country, see what happens. You gamble by saying yes to a business opportunity that you're not entirely sure. In the end, I think gambling doesn't necessarily have to happen in a casino, or doesn't necessarily have to happen with money. I choose to gamble with life energy. So if you're going to gamble on yourself. Gamble on hard work. Gamble on dreams. Gamble on love. Because in the end, the only really big win is to have a life that doesn't revolve around luck. Thank you.